Hey y'all, I'm Mandi Kaye.
And I'm Kelly Lee.
And together, we're going to be talking about Southern fried pop culture.
Mandi has a podcast called Pop Culturally Deprived where she talks about movies and shows that she's missed out on.
And Kelly has a podcast called Southern Fried Scholar where she talks about lifelong learning because she spent a lot of time in school, but also missed out on many movies and shows.
So on this show, we're going to talk about our experiences of Southern culture through the lens of stories that are set in the South, feature Southern characters, or are Southern flavored in some way.
And we're also going to be drinking while we podcast because cocktails are a staple of the South. So tonight, I'm drinking vodka lemonade. How about you?
Rum and Sprite for me tonight.
Magnolias and red tulips and a little bit of cussing on my lips. Wait on the sugar, save it for my tea. Hold the door for me and call me ma'am, but don't forget who I really am. Just 'cause I'm Southern, it don't mean I'm sweet.
That amazing song was written just for us and the show by the wonderfully amazing and talented Jozi Bently.
Thank you, Jozi.
Jozi is one half of the podcast Moo Point, and I can't say enough amazing things about her. If you like the show Friends, Moo Point is definitely a podcast you should be listening to. And if you liked what you heard of our theme song, stay tuned until the very, very end so you can hear the full song in all of its glory.
I love this song so much.
I do too, and it gets stuck in my head like every day now.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. Okay, Mandi, tell us about you and your experience growing up in the South.
I grew up in a very small town in the coastal region of North Carolina. And when I say grew up, I mean like up until the age of 10. When I was 10, I ended up kind of more in the middle of the state in an actual city. But in my most formative years and the ones that really started to turn me into the person that I eventually became, those years I was in this teeny tiny, very small, very southern town. And, you know, it's one of those towns where there are more churches than anything else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of family in that town. It's kind of like a one-family town, or at least it was back then. And so it was kind of one of those things where everybody knew who the Ottoways were. And, you know, the Ottoways ran things in the town a little bit. Now, I was too young to really have anything to do with any of that. It was just kind of something I picked up on.
Mm-hmm.
No stoplight in the town when I was young. There are stoplights now, but there weren't back then. I had a grandma and a granddaddy, not a grandma and a grandpa. And my granddaddy was a soybean farmer. So really, anything that you can think about that's kind of stereotypically Southern, like, it probably happened to me when I was a kid. You know, we went to church every week. We definitely wore Easter dresses every year and the little Easter bonnets and things like that, because Easter was a big thing, because we got a new dress for Easter every year. Like, Easter dress shopping was a thing. And when you went to the store around Easter time, all that was out for the little girls were beautiful dresses. And
Wow.
I don't see that anymore. I can't remember the last time I saw that in the store. But I do remember that definitely when I was a kid. It was a thing.
It was very different for me. I have never been Easter dress shopping.
Really?
Never.
Oh, it was so much fun. I feel like I need to I have some pictures of me from at least one Easter where I'm holding the little Easter basket. I have a little white hat on and this beautiful little dress. I'll see if I can find it.
I have one picture when I was very, very young in an Easter dress and a bonnet, but it was a one-time thing.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a thing for us. I don't know why Easter was bigger than Christmas, which is interesting because now as an adult, Christmas is my thing. So Kelly, why don't you tell us about how you grew up Southern?
So I grew up mostly in Georgia, but also lived in North Carolina for a little bit and spent a few years in Florida, but I don't really count that as the South. And in Georgia, you know, they say if you're in Atlanta, they want to know what business you're in. And if you're in Savannah, they want to know what your favorite drink is. But if you're in Macon, they want to know where you go to church. And when I think of Middle Georgia, I think of the buckle on the Bible Belt. And that was where I grew up. So it's a lot of tainted religion and racial hatred and misogyny and football and oppressive heat and humidity and poverty and ignorance and a crippled education system. So I don't think it's a lot of nostalgia on my part.
Right.
And it wasn't a small town, you know, so I don't have that small town Southern experience. But I do also think of my grandmothers and boiled peanuts and peaches and lightning bugs and warm Southern nights and thunderstorms and dancing in the rain outside and kissing at the county fair and Spanish moss and live oak trees and music and those honey-dipped accents and, you know, just this feeling of grace. So it's kind of a complicated love story for me, and it's all about the romance of place, which I think so much of Southern literature and Southern story is just a place-based experience.
Absolutely. I think you just described my childhood too so much better than I did. So we're just going to go with that. When you're raised in the South, certain things are expected of you, particularly if you're a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Manners are very important. You're raised to say yes, ma'am, and no, sir. You always say thank you. And you don't call adults by their first name. And many of the things that we would call Southern culture have been stereotyped and caricatured in the media. So what Kelly and I want to do is examine how that Southern culture is portrayed in the media.
Yes, and I'm really fascinated by the portrayal of Southern manners and traditions in the media, and also by the subtext and undercurrent of the expectations and experiences of Southern characters in all kinds of stories. So this is going to be fun, y'all. We are starting with what may be one of the most beloved Southern movies of all times, which is Steel Magnolias. So tune in for our first full episode of Southern Fried Pop Culture on December 7th. Mandi, where can folks find you?
Well, I am on Twitter at Mandi Kaye, or you can find me and my other show, Pop Culturally Deprived, at eloquentgushing.com.
And you can find me on Twitter at Dr. Kelly Jones, at southernfriedscholar.com, or the Southern Fried Scholar podcast, or on the Big Strong Yes podcast with Lonnie Rich. Thanks, y'all.
Southern Fried Pop Culture is an Eloquent Gushing production. For more information, please visit eloquentgushing.com or visit us on Twitter at eloquentgushing.
Magnolias and red tulips and a little bit of cussing on my lips. Wait on the sugar, save it for my tea. Hold the door for me and call me ma'am, but don't forget who I really am. Just 'cause I'm Southern, it don't mean I'm sweet. You wanna hear just what I think, but I don't walk around tickle pink. I've got a lot to say about today's modern art. There's stories and there's counterpoints, and I have got my unique voice. I'm a professor who says bless your little heart. Magnolias and red tulips and a little bit of cussing on my lips. Wait on the sugar, save it for my tea. Hold the door for me and call me ma'am, but don't forget who I really am. Just 'cause I'm Southern, it don't mean I'm sweet. Oh, I got things to say, you're gonna hear them all today. Just sit back, strap in, ready for the ride. Magnolias and red tulips and a little bit of cussing on my lips. Wait on the sugar, save it for my tea. Hold the door for me